Welcome back to the Realty Rundown from the Nic Wyse team. I'm Nic Wyse, and with me, as always, is my co-host Nathan Schwartz.
That's right.
Today, we are talking about something that's making waves across the country and in our economy, and it could have a major impact on housing market. It's tariffs. So, probably not what a lot of people associate with housing, but they're associated with trade wars, of course, corporations, imports, but actually, they can play a big role in the housing market and real estate. So while a lot of discussions focuses on new home construction, because obviously new homes are constructed with these raw materials, sometimes they're imported. So that makes sense that tariffs be associated with that. We want to focus a little bit more today on how existing homes can also be impacted by tariffs and how home buyers and sellers could feel that impact.
Yeah, Nick. So when people hear about tariffs, they probably don't think, oh, oh, this is going to change how much I pay for a house. But in reality, tariffs can create ripple effects that touch everything from home values to mortgage rates and housing inventory. And with the latest round of tariffs, we're already seeing shifts in the market.
Yeah, yep, exactly. So today we're going to break down what tariffs actually are and why they matter for real estate, how they impact home prices and inventory and buyer demand, whether they could make selling your home more profitable or hurt affordability, and what buyers and sellers should do to prepare for possible market changes. So, Nate, let's start with the basics. What are tariffs and why should homeowners care?
Yeah, so tariffs are basically taxes on imported goods. So when the US places tariffs on products coming from countries like Canada, China, or Mexico, it makes those goods more expensive. In real estate, tariffs directly impact building and appliances. That's why most conversations about tariffs focus on new home construction, because when materials get more expensive, so do new houses.
Yeah, exactly. So, here's where it kind of trickles down to existing homes. As you mentioned, it's not a direct effect, it's more of a trickle down. So, if new home construction gets more expensive, more buyers will in turn to resale homes, which just increases the demand for the already existing low inventory. And what happens when demand is high and supply is low?
Prices go up. So if fewer new homes are being built or they're just too expensive, buyers flood the market for existing homes, which drives up prices.
Yep, exactly. And that's what we're starting to see. So, a slowdown in the new home construction because of rising costs is putting more pressure on the existing home industry, which is already low in a lot of markets.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're a homeowner thinking about selling, tariffs might actually work in your favor. Less new construction means more competition for your home, potentially leading to higher offers from buyers.
Yeah, exactly. That's especially true in areas where affordable homes are scarce, which is starting to be exactly the case in our area. I was just talking today actually with Congressman Yakim, and he was mentioning, how $250,000 is kind of your entry level home now in a lot of situations, and it kind of hit me, and I was like, oh my goodness, you're right though.
Yep.
That's kind of where we're at, and your average home value is more around the 360s, especially in like Middlebury area and some of the other
Hmm.
communities. But on the flip side of all this, buyers are getting priced out because home values keep climbing. So we could see a slowdown in demand at certain points as well.
Yeah, and let's not forget interest rates. If tariffs contribute to inflation, the Fed could respond by raising interest rates, which would make mortgages more expensive.
Exactly. So while sellers might benefit from the rising home prices, buyers could struggle with affordability issues, not just because of high prices, but also because of higher borrowing costs.
Yeah, and let's talk about what experts are saying about this. According to recent reports, we're already seeing number one, new home costs are rising due to higher material prices, a slowdown in new construction starting in some markets, and more competition for existing homes, leading to fewer price reductions.
Yeah. And some analysts are predicting that if tariffs continue to drive up costs, we could see lower inventory levels, especially for those affordable homes, more demand for fixer uppers, since new homes might be out of reach for some buyers, and potential for price stability if affordability does become an issue.
Yeah, and this really comes down to supply and demand. If fewer new homes are built and demand stays strong, prices will keep going up. But if buyers start pulling back because they simply can't afford homes, that could slow down price growth.
Yeah, Nate, I'm going to take a real quick pause and just ask you, what are you seeing right now? Obviously you work with a tremendous amount of buyers.
Mhm.
That's what you're doing day in, day out. And are you still seeing, a difficult situation where you've got somebody that wants to find a home? Are they having to look at a broader geographic area than maybe they would want to be in to find something that they can afford?
I mean, maybe. I mean, the some clients come to mind as far as like if they're looking for an acre or so to be able to put up, I mean, well, if you want to put up an outbuilding or if you want an outbuilding, you're looking at a couple acres. But yeah, I would say so, especially Elkhart County, real
Mhm.
estate here is pretty expensive, especially your Middlebury, Bristol area. But yeah, I would say some of them are kind of having to go outside of that. to see if we can find what they're looking for maybe a better price.
Yeah. Okay. That's kind of what I was thinking with the buyers right now. And obviously tariffs can lead to an even bigger exacerbation of that problem. But wanted to talk now maybe a little bit about sellers. So if you're a seller right now, in your opinion, what would be the best move to make right now?
Yeah, so if you've been thinking about selling, this could be a great time. Inventory is low, so demand is high, and prices are holding strong. But it's important to price your home strategically. Buyers are still watching affordability. Make your home move-in ready. Buyers don't want to deal with costly upgrades. Like one thing that my buyer sees when they're walking up to a house, if they already see something they have to fix, that's just one thing it accumulates as they're walking through the house. Oh, I've got to do that. I've got to do that. Oh, and you want top dollar for this house? So just make sure it's move-in ready. That's what people are looking for, especially if you're asking top dollar for your house. And of course, work with a experienced agent like us to navigate pricing and negotiations.
Yeah. And for buyers, we're still recommending some of the same things, like getting pre-approved as soon as possible. It's the best thing you can do first. Once you've gotten linked up with an agent, they're going to tell you the same thing. Get yourself pre-approved. That's what opens all the doors for you. If interest rates rise, you'll be really glad that you've locked in rates now. And of course, that's part of the tariffs. The fear is tariffs are inflationary. What do they do when inflation is going up? They raise interest rates to combat it and kind of push it back down. So that is a possibility, guys. So we have to be very aware of that. And if, like we mentioned, consider expanding your search. If certain areas are becoming too expensive, look at some nearby neighborhoods or some nearby geographic areas. I think we had a couple recently that kind of wanted to be in Bristol, but they ended up finding the perfect place. But I think they were all the way over in either Mishawaka or Granger, where you ended up finding them, because they wanted a little land. They wanted, to have a big outbuilding. So it worked for them, and they were kind of able to beat the market in that way. Where they would have been priced out in the Bristol market, they were able to go a little bit further west, find exactly what they were looking for, and it was something that was in their budget.
Right.
And then the third thing is, don't wait too long. Home prices they've continued to rise despite all the economic concerns, despite the stock market's really struggling. Believe me, I'm feeling that one. But home prices continue to rise all the time, which means affordability could only get worse. In fact, if things do reverse course and things get better, that means interest rates are going to pull back down. And if you combine that with a hot spring market already, that means that home prices are probably going to shoot up. And so your ability to afford those homes is going to be even more difficult. So we always encourage people, don't wait. If you're waiting for something that's out of your control, that's a really big gamble. And we encourage you not to do that. It's still America. I say it all the time, go open up your front door, look outside. Do you live in America? If you do, it's a great time to buy a home. So don't, give yourself that opportunity to, when the market goes up, when the prices go up, you're going along right up with it. You're increasing your equity and your wealth right alongside the market. So
yeah, well said.
Some final thoughts, I guess, and calls to action. So I just wanted to reiterate, I guess, that, tariffs might seem like an issue for politicians and big business, and that's for them to worry about, but they actually have a huge impact on the housing market and on homeowners, on buyers, on sellers. And it's important to understand how these economic changes can affect your home's value.
Yep. And if you want to stay ahead of the market, working with a knowledgeable real estate team, again, the Nic Wyse Team, we're here to help buyers and sellers navigate those changes and make smart decisions.
Yep. And that's it. We wanted to make a nice little short episode. We did it, Nate.
We did.
Coming in under 10 minutes for all you people that are like,
that's rare.
a little long. It's a little long-winded. And that's even with me having a couple tangents in there. So we're doing great. We're doing good. That is it for this episode of the Realty Rundown from the Nic Wyse Team. If you have any questions about buying, selling, how the current real estate market is affecting you, please do reach out to myself or my teammate Nathan Schwartz. We're here to help you guys. Thank you for tuning in. And remember, Nick knows and get wise replies. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.